Hi guys, it's Sarah May Bates. This is Help Me Be Me, and I'm doing an episode roughly called Soothing the Pit. And it's for anxiety and when you're in that stage of expecting the worst and in that loop of rumination. So this is for working through it. Um, I'm gonna try and talk you down like a Huntrix style. It's a talk down. Um, so if you're dealing with the intensity of uncertainty and you have the spins, as I call it, where your brain is coming back again and again to a specific worry, telling really long, elaborate stories about the future, this is when your body is kind of just permanently in that threat state of flexed, sick, uh, compromised, a little bit dead in that a part of you is just not present. Like your half of you is living a completely different reality. And there's that constant fixation that returns again and again to whatever the offending scenario is. And all of that is so lived, it's so felt, but it's inside your head and it's totally optional. None of it exists in reality. And so that theater of the mind is what I'm trying to work with because there's such production value in that mind. It's like $1 billion movie budget. The scenes are elaborate, they're long, they go in all sorts of directions and they go into the years in the future of like other bad things that happen. And so if that's you right now, I want you to come back to the truth that these situations, no matter how much they freak us out or make us wish that we could skip them. A lot of them arrive on our path for very fruitful growth. All friction creates material for really powerful growth and change. Something positive can be born from this thing. So I just want you to try and reframe it as such just for a second. And I mean that quite literally, just like I'm giving you a guided meditation. Imagine in this moment right now, whatever the thing is you're ruminating about, just ask yourself, what is this here to create in me? What growth is this here to create in me? What change am I working toward? What is the built-in potential for change that this thing is offering to me? And I want you to like free associate. It could be that it's here to remind you to have compassion for somebody else. It could be reminding you the next time blank happens that you shouldn't be so harsh on the person, the situation. You shouldn't take it so hard. It could be about reminding you to keep your balance in life so you're not, making it all about work or I don't know. Just think on that for a moment. What is this here to teach me? And imagine that that is true. Like if your brain goes into the resistance mode of like, nope, this is actually bad. There's nothing good. I'm absolutely notice that too. And just for the sake of imagination, try and go into the creative, like what could it possibly be if it's a super important mini little growth spurt I'm supposed to have? What could it be? I'm going to assume you did that with great success. And now, in this episode, there are three parts: the what, the why, and the how, the tools. Part one, the what. Constant worry. I mean, I don't know if anyone got my reference to K-pop Demon Hunters earlier on in this episode, but if you've heard the song Takedown, imagine that this is a remake of that song and it's a talk down. A talk down of what? For you in a perpetual state of anxiety, you your brain will actually start to default to that. Like if you're a person that has anxiety or had a lot of powerlessness and chronic anxiety growing up, your brain will kind of default to that pretty often. And you get into grooves of just kind of finding comfort in that. And when your brain, if let's say it's triggered by an actual real scary, traumatizing event. Like, let's say something really stressful happens to you. After that stress is past, your brain can kind of get into that familiar groove of wanting to reset to that pattern again. And I call it shopping for a worry. So your brain will almost like be going hunting through, like, what other things should I be worried about? Like, if you have just the like tingling sensation of anxiety in your stomach, you might be like, you notice your brain shopping, like, what could I be worried about? Could it be blank? Should I be worried about blank? Can I be worried about blank? And if you're looking, you will find something. There's no shortage of things in the world to worry about. Your brain, as soon as it's in that process, it will uh, want to find things to worry about and to fixate on it, to tell stories about. It's a habit. And so when you're in that stage of really circling around and like telling those stories, the best thing we can do is A, just notice it's happening, and B, really teach ourselves to relax, teach ourselves to come back to the present. And one way we can start to do that is just remember what you know to be true in like objective fact in the moment you're in and not in the theater of the mind. So, for example, one way to remind yourself to do that is to literally come into the most pure version of the present. So, for example, right now, I want you to look around in the room you're in and try and see the air inside of the room and not the room itself. And you can kind of catch like a really fleeting glimpse of like present. And when you can do that, remind yourself, like, I'm here. I'm in this room. My body is safe. I'm physically safe. Everything in this moment is fine. Right now, everything is fine. Anything that is happening outside of this room, anything that is in the future, anything that is happening that I'm not experiencing right now, that is a concept, is not for me to concern myself with or tell stories about right now. Because all of that can change. All of it does change all the time. It changes instantly, all the time. All of the stuff that we cannot affect or change or is not happening to us right now, all that stuff changes all the time. Your job is to only exist in this room right now and come home to a sense of safety, groundedness, and non attachment. So that's really the goal. And when your brain is searching for worry, hunting for the source of something, it's it'll pick anything new. It can attach to anything new because it's not about the thing itself. It has nothing to do with the thing itself. It's just the habit. And when your body remembers that habit and it kind of craves it because in your in your brain's hallucination, it's thinking if you're worrying, you're not going to be hurt. If you're already in the worry and you're already in the storytelling of the pain, that it's not going to hurt so much and that you're in some way protecting yourself from future pain. But we live so much pain through that. You live so much pain. You're removed from your present. You're removed from the happiness and the embodiment of a present experience. And it, I'm like, it's a violation. It's a complete betrayal of the value of life to exist in a half-life like that. And when your brain is in the solving state, when it's in the storytelling state, it believes that the outcome you perceive, the thing you're worrying about, the target of your worry, it has deemed that that thing is imminent. It has falsely decided and labeled that that outcome is 100% certain. And it tells your body, expect this future. It's real. And I know that you know this conceptually, but I want you to know it in an energy way that that's absolutely not true. That thing will absolutely not happen. That is the truth of it. The hallucination of the worst case scenario is false. Your body is like, this is going to happen. It's going to be really terrible. All a lie. All false. Even as I say that, it might be triggering in you like a, well, but it is though. It that is the way our superstition works. Like our fear of getting hurt is so like compulsive and bizarre that it's like it almost refuses to let go of this doom. You know what I mean? Like I have to commit to the doom. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get my hopes up. So, but in our storytelling, like as soon as you can disengage from that negative storytelling and back up and like just remain completely open to what will be and practice non-attachment, you will witness in a very like magical and amazing way that your fear was completely false. It is a wholly different experience of life if you just go through this backing up process and just ground and let go. Just ground and let go, and you will see like the course of the river changes, and you're like, oh, oh my gosh, I was like in a completely different movie, and my life is this movie. It's a good movie. I was in a terrible movie. They're it's like two different, options for life. You can live in one or the other, but it's all up to you to disengage from the dark one. So let's start there. Can you slow down and just allow your body to go through a process of allowing brightness and neutrality to fill you? Like right now, I just want to offer you this meditation of imagining your body filling with bright white light. And imagine that it's filled with goodness, whatever that means. Filling your body, flooding your chest, flooding your back, flooding your legs, your head, your neck. Really mentally imagine that. And then also really mentally imagine all of my ruminations, all of my fear is manufactured and false. All of this practicing of expecting the worst is false because truthfully, I have no idea. Truthfully, I cannot know. So just imagining that in your mind's eye is the only thing I'm asking you to do. Imagining it as if you're an actor on a stage playing this role. The second layer I want you to practice, if you are a person right now who's in the throes of a loop of rumination that is tied to feeling guilty, like my codependent friends out there, if you are a person who's like so intensely burdened by guilt and feeling bad, the second layer of this imagination practice I want you to try is leaning into a slight feeling of, I know this sounds completely counterintuitive, but anger, of active, self protective justification of like, no, I am 100% valid. I am 100% valid. And I'm asking you to go there because in your case, it's like gonna overcorrect you to a middle, like probably a little below normal. Like, I'm trying to get you to like a little closer to normal when you're like way below it in terms of feeling valid. So just imagine in your body, like your body's standing up taller. You're feeling even more strong and flexed and self-protective and active. No, I have an absolute legitimate right to feel the way I feel. So, those are my two on the spot little meditations I wanted to offer. Which brings me to part two, the why. Well, I mean, this is a broad why. There are so many resources out there that can go into science, and this is not one of those types of podcasts, but I don't know if you guys have ever tried marijuana before. I'm not recommending marijuana, but I'm just offering up this metaphor for when you have that sense of paranoia and overwhelm. It's like the floodgates of awareness are wide open, and you're just bombarded with a feeling of, oh my God, everything is dangerous, everything is terrifying. Holy crap, I have so much I have to do. Or hormones are another example of this. When you're in that dark tunnel of, I cannot possibly bear all of this stress. I cannot possibly bear all of these responsibilities that are on my shoulders. There's a very specific window of awareness that can feel like it's going to break us. And that is what I'm highlighting to just explain a version of that is happening right now. A version of your brain focusing on too many things at the same time that shouldn't be focused on is happening right now. And at times when we get our filter gets so wide open, we get really paralyzed. What we have to do is take manual steps to recalibrate and kind of close down the shutter so we can focus on the only thing that is relevant at any given point in time, which is what is our business? What is within our power? What can we affect? What are we doing right now? And when you feel like you're hormonally challenged or even not, when you feel like you're thinking about too many things that are not related to the here and now, we got to take the manual steps. We have to really recall just the simple thing that is the room, because nothing is more out of control than it was before you felt like this, before you started in that thought loop. The only thing that's different is the stuff that's going on in your head. So, really, what we're altering is kind of a felt perception. We have to create the perspective. We have to choose the perspective. We have to rehearse and practice the perspective and really reorient and train in that feeling of safety and groundedness. It starts with just remembering that that is an option available to us. We just have to take the steps to get there. So I know that you know this, but just calling out also the effects, the reciprocal effects of thoughts on feelings and also on health. Like your mental intention, your mood tells your body how to heal itself and how to be balanced. And a lot of what all the new science is showing is that, disorder in cells is a lack of coherence. And our cells are disordered and they need to remember how to become coherent and do what they do and heal themselves. So our job is always to encourage coherence versus conflict, battle, weakness. So I'm seeing that as a reminder to calm, really keep it simple. The goal is to calm your energy, focus your energy on healing and balance and brightness and goodness and groundedness. So that's a super simple meta thing I want you to target. Like really being deliberate about the things you are saying in your mind to your body. Like, for example, I am aligned, I am healthy, I am soothed. Things like focusing on bright white light. I've learned that from a lot of different people who work in other forms of consciousness, but also energy healers. And it never really made a lot of sense to me, but I'm just going with it. And I do feel like it's a kind of a neutral visual. And even if you don't believe in any of it, and even if it feels a little bit far-fetched, it doesn't matter if you still go through the motions. It still has a powerful effect. Even if you're like, I don't know, this feels ridiculous. It doesn't matter. It will still help. So when you are in a stress state, I want you to behave as if you are a very talented actor on a stage or playing a role, and imagine you are acting in that role with all of your energy. You are selling that feeling to your audience. And imagine, for example, right now, like you're an actor, what energy would you bring to your performance if you are intending to portray pure love? Like, just try it right now. I'm going to try it too. I'm going to look awesome on my YouTube video. Okay, so let's imagine we're acting on a stage. Our role is pure love. I can't not laugh because now I'm thinking about what I look like. Okay. It kind of gets you there, right? Like, imagine it when you're acting it with your full energy. And this is just so you can really observe how those changes act in your body. Like, now try it with optimism, just joy, optimism, excitement. I want you to imagine you're an actor playing that role now. Like, if you need a line, I'll give you a line. I'm so excited. So just let's try it. Let's try acting that out. I'm so excited. It changes your body. It changes your makeup. So this is all of these like practices are similar to that, which brings me to part three, the how, the tools. Before I go into the tools, I just want to remind everybody, if you don't believe in any of this stuff about energy, just try the bean experiment, get some bean seeds, talk to them, see what happens. Talk to some with lots of love and encouragement, talk to another set with damnation and anger, and just see the power of your energy. It's that simple. It's like obvious. It's so obvious and simple. Like, of course, your energy has a current and a charge. Of course it does. Anyway, part three, the how, the tools. But first, a brief word from our sponsors. Okay, before I go into any tools, I just wanted to say whatever shitstorm of fear you are stewing in, could be so many things, know that this is a transition in your life and things will arrive at a new version of normal when you arrive on the other side of whatever transition this is. Change settles. So just keep that in mind. Nothing is the end of the world. Keep in your mind the context of I am in change and imagine yourself in a year from now. How will it feel when things are just normal and not eventful? What perspective will you have on yourself today when you're in that point in time? Will you look back and just see, like, wow, I was so aroused. I was so like in it. And you would be able, from that vantage point, to look back on yourself today and tell yourself, like, calm down, take a little bit off of your experience. Like you still got to enjoy this time. This is still part of life. This is still part of your your life. It can gift you joy. Got to take this off your shoulders a little bit. So with that, here are some tools for hopefully getting you into a good talk down. All right, the very first tool is a mantra. God is a feeling. I love this mantra. I love this mantra so much. If the word God is triggering to you, change it to love or change it to truth. I use this word to explain the energy of love. The word God for me means joy, love, a flooding of feeling that is like pure connected essence. It's for me the experience of that feeling is those moments in time when you're flooded with gratitude. It's that perspective or awareness, I should say, of everything being great and perfect and you're just so grateful to be alive. And I wanted to pause and ask you, just go to an experience or a memory of that in your mind. When was that? When you were like, wow, I am so fully present right now. This is so pure and wonderful. Where was it? When was it? What area were you in? What time of day was it? Look around. Like, what is the atmosphere? What is the weather? What is the temperature? Who's there? And when you were in that moment, did you really take note of it? And did you allow yourself to just, as I call it, time stretch, like slow down time and just really watch it? That is something that I think is really what is possible for us in many ways all the time. Like I think if you're like the Dalai Lama, you're probably there all the time. But you really have to like work to maintain that access through training this mofo, like your brain. So I think for a lot of people, when you get in that stage of feeling lost, energetically lost, we feel like that moment or that state of joy and love and like perfection, we feel like it was just an illusion. It was a spell that wore off. And now I'm back to reality. This is the real part. Now, this is the thing that was always there that I'm going to be in chronically. The other thing is the exception. But I think the opposite is true. And the opposite is what we have to teach ourselves to resume. Like we can be in the joy state more often than the, you know, last call floodlights turning on like reality instead of that state. So the magic fullness you feel in those brief moments are reality. And the storytelling of the mind and often the chemicals of fatigue and stress and distraction are what block us from it. But we can always return to the magic vibe fullness state, but we have to actively create the conditions for ourselves to procure that. So, what does that mean? In really like, I feel like the ancient peoples had so many things set up in culture to facilitate that feeling of joy, perfection, awe, love, gratitude, like tearful gratitude. So many practices were just built into like a daily routine, and we've gotten rid of so many of them. Like things like singing in a group. That is so conducive to feeling joy and connected. And it's basically antidepressant meds, like excreted out of your tongue. Like it's so good for your body. It's so good for your mood. It's so good for your felt sense of God. And I mean that in the like my version of energy. And we don't often get that opportunity. I mean, maybe you do. I don't have a routine that has that built into it, but I need to figure out a way to get it into my routine because it was erased from it just based on the culture I exist within. Another thing we don't have an opportunity for awe is we used to be outside working all day, physically working. We had all these natural endorphins. We had this experience of nature. We had so much sun. We had so much sweat and like things creating the conditions for us to feel extreme gratitude and feelings of satisfaction. So we have to basically recreate those things in this modern, very scheduled lifestyle. And I mean, like, literally being in nature a lot, being in sun a lot. And we used to have no stupid fucking screens. Pardon my French. I wish if I could, my podcast would be gone. It'd be a bummer. But if I could press a magic button, I would get rid of all screens, except maybe a TV. I like myself a good TV show or a movie screen. But I would get rid of every other stupid screen, and I would get rid of all social media and all. I'd get rid of the internet too, I think. Sorry. I think it would be a much happier life. And I think people would be a lot happier. But honestly, screens, the main reason I would get rid of them is because of the fractured focus, the amount of compartmentalizing we do with our brains, and also the amount that it has taken us out of human to human experience. Like the fact that people are on earpods when they walk down the street, the amount of access people have to meeting their partner in a public space like a college campus is crippling to a whole generation of people who want to be connected to other people. Like we need it biologically, we need it so badly to feel a strong connection to strangers, essentially. And in communities that are tight knit, like if you think about when you travel, if you go to another country, I know this, that people that are listening to this are in other countries. My experience as an American going to other cultures, strangers being so generous and giving to me as if I were their family, that creates in me a feeling and creates in them a feeling of God, of awe, of all of the chemicals and all of the gushy, every single feeling that will make you feel fulfilled and so grateful to be a human alive on the planet. That all of those experiences are so random and casual and small, but they change your perspective of the value of life. And they create, they make you moved. Like there are so many opportunities to be moved if you are interacting with other human beings. And we used to have opportunities to feel connected to one another, to be able to show up for one another makes you feel like such a valuable person. It makes you feel so good about yourself. And I don't even mean that in like a selfish way. It allows you to see your own goodness. It's one of those like mirrors, one of those rare mirrors that allows you to validate what you hope is true, or but you question if it's true, if you don't get to see it, if you don't get to practice it. And so I think one of the most important gifts in our life is to be moved and to be touched and to feel profound feelings and like be able to show up with something that allows us to show up outside of what is expected of us. And for me, when I have those opportunities to express like that feeling or that depth of feeling, it's so easy. I like go into instant tears, which I wish I didn't do because it's embarrassing, quite frankly. It happened after I had my second child. Something broke in my vagina. Just kidding. Something broke, and now I like instantly weep, and I can't help it. But I think, you know what? It's a gift because it's a gift to be moved. And I think we're getting sold a raw deal by being isolated and self-protective and closed off to other people because it depletes our felt sense of meaning. So all of that is to say, create those conditions. What are those? First of all, what does the feeling look like? I want you to be able to recognize it when it shows up so you can mark it, so you can know what you want more of in your life. The feeling of being flooded with a stage of, holy cow, my life is so perfect. This is so wonderful. This is so complete. That's the feeling I want you to recognize. And then I want you to create conditions for the happy tears. All right, the next tool. This is a little like self check-in. What emoji am I? If emojis are annoying as a visual metaphor, I just shout on phones and now I'm being like, be an emoji. But if the main reason I'm using that is like, I think sometimes we go into a trend of feeling and we get into like a habit of being defaulting to a certain way of behaving or thinking or feeling. And it's almost like we forgot to notice. So I just, as a check-in, sometimes I'll ask like, what am I trending as? What emoji am I trending at? Like meaning what's my energetic center? And I mean, wide swath, just a check in for yourself. Am I like being cranky? Am I being like a cranky emoji right now? Or like, have I been for the last month like just like a get to the point, like that kind of emoji? Are you in a victim, like, wah kind of emoji? Or whatever it is, just to check in and like recalibrate. Recall like your previous state of being before you got into that habit. Acceptance, peace, and trust. That's kind of the energy to reset to. Sometimes if I get into like the whoa, and I mean, the causes for getting into a stage of whoa are legitimate. I'm not undermining like they could be real serious scary things that are like so stressful. And as soon as you know that, accept that that is true, and then come back to, oh, yeah, but I know myself and I know I'm going to be okay. If it feels right for you, another thing to reset to, oh, yeah, I know I have angels. I can come home to the fact that they are helping me and I can smile and I can remember to trust them. I can remember to let go. I can remember to let go and let God. If you don't like that word, I can remember to accept the truth of what is and accept the truth that I will be okay. Like I can and have in my past lived through many worse things. Therefore, I don't have to worry. I don't have to have the job of worrying about this thing. Back to emojis. I, and for most of my drawings of myself throughout my life have been like a giant smile. Like in my illustration of myself, I've been like this person that has a giant smile way too often or as like a common resting state. So if I ever get into like an alternate emoji, I can remember like, oh, no, no, no. Remember who you are? You're this other person. Sometimes I end up as a spectacle face. I have a mom friend. I'm going to tell you this anecdote just in case it helps inspire something. I have a mom friend who is 100% uninhibited in her language, her energy. She does not give any fucks about anybody's opinion or any specific, coded environment of like, you should be very quiet here, you should be blah, blah, blah. And I watched that with such awe. It's like I remember what it was like to feel like that and to live like that. And I would love to be there. I was a long, long time ago. It didn't do well for me in my career, but picture that feeling of like, I am 100% authentic in all circles. I don't care what anybody thinks, ever. And I can say whatever I want, and I don't care. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel judged. I don't even think about people's judgment. Just think about that feeling of not ever being self conscious, not feeling apologetic, not watching for the reactions of others. Just imagine how light and free that existence is and how unlimited your self expression becomes. Like you can sing at the top of your lungs wherever you want. Like it's a person that's unfettered by culture. It's so light. And I just described that as you think on wherever you have defaulted to, like what emoji do you want to be moving forward? Okay. My next tool, the pause button. If you are in like chronic intense worry and your body is kind of like just can't get out of it, I want you to imagine, like similar to looking at the space in the room exercise, I want you to imagine that you could pause your brain, pause the thinking, and then almost look around outside of it. And like almost think of it as like you got out of your body and you're looking around because the thought loop is a ruse. And sometimes if we imagine we could just see it from outside of it as a thought process, we can see that our perception is in fact malleable. Like sometimes I like to visit in my mind's eye. Kids can't, they're not in the story of what's wrong, of why they should feel bad. They're just in the present. So sometimes what I do is I tune into a child's laughter POV. Like imagine I am embodying the energy of their laughter. And it's almost like a memory. You can, in your mind's eye, go to a memory that everything is in fact okay. And if you are looking at it from a different perspective, everything is as it was. Everything is just fine. Everything has always been imperfect. But in our energy, we can still stay in what is unfettered. Don't know if that made sense. I hope it did. Okay. The next tool is kind of in an opposite direction, but I think it is For me, it's a helpful meditation. When you're picturing all of the things that are impossible and you're really going to like the most, intense dread processing of like everything's going to be bad and then this is going to happen and that's going to mean this is going to happen. That's so terrible. If you're in that kind of storytelling, this tool is you can't go over it, can't go under it. You just got to go through it. And what I mean by that is the solve is just fully going straight through it, worst case scenario, and accepting it and really like digesting, okay, this is life. This is where I am. Go into it, embrace it as potential outcome, and imagine it and recall that stage of being on the other side of this thing, whatever it is, and being like, yeah, I'm at the other side of this thing. It's shitty and I'm okay. It's shitty and then I do this and then I do this and I'm okay. So just going through that mental process of like, I now have lived it and I survived. After you do that process, I want you to also imagine in your mind's eye and just stay open to maybe there won't be any problem at all. Maybe this is all completely a fiction. And I completely stay open to and welcome and accept that possible outcome as well. Okay, the next tool, a mantra of sorts, nothing to do, be good at nothing. I think when we're in rumination, we're really compulsively searching for a way to solve an impossible thing that is all hypothetical. And the process of trying to solve it is our brain being like, see, I'm protecting you from pain. But it's like giving yourself an unpaid, job licking envelopes. I don't know. It's just like a brutal, tedious practice. So, if you have fully arrived at, this is the thing I want to offer you. If you have a mental rumination, I want to ask you concretely, is there anything you can do? No. If the answer is no, arrive at that, know it, center yourself in that reality. And now, no recalling energy, energy creates a path. I want you to be really good at doing nothing. Like, what does that look like? If you're going to shift your energetic body toward the present moment, being positive, being uplifted, what is the nothing that you are going to do that is going to really help your chemistry? And by that, I mean like, I'm going to go outside and paint a plant or paint a picture of a plant, I mean, or I'm going to go hiking or I'm going to do a project with my kids that involves art. Anything that's creative, anything that's outdoor, but like really act as if. You got to throw your body into something that is kind of like it can rehabilitate your energy. And it's almost going to feel like, you just got out of an illness. Like it's not going to feel like in you to do the thing, but you got to practice the thing anyway. Okay, next tool, another mantra. This is a customizable one. If you're in that stage of compulsive, nonstop obsession with what's wrong, really the truth is, for me, my mantra, my kids are safe, my family's healthy, everything is okay. That's it. Outside of that, you know, the house burned down, fine. My kids are safe, my family's healthy, everything is okay. Just keep it in context and know that, like, truthfully, that is all that matters, the people you love. And if you have your own thing you want to put into that sentence, use it and come back to that, like, in your body. And I don't mean just say it, but like, imagine it and remember, oh, that is 100% true. Nothing outside of that matters. Next tool, I already kind of touched on this. I'll just reprise it. A friction creation gift. All these things in our life are truly here for us to create, and they are gifts of friction. They usually give us the impetus, like to bounce off in a new direction. Unfortunately, like the more painful, the bigger the bounce towards something positive. So use it. Look at it for what it's here to gift you. It's usually to gift you with something very big you're trying to get to. Um, and you'll have to, it's giving you a running start towards something. But just ask yourself, how can I channel this for good? It's on your path for a reason. What is that reason? I want you to like, this is what I ask my team to do is like concept against it. Come up with ideas against this question. What is this here for? I want you to like ideate. What are all the possible things it's here for? See where that takes you. All right. And the next tool is just a context for looking at the importance of all those awe-inspiring things. It's called Norwich Daisy Chain. I heard this on another podcast, but this town in Vermont is home to the most Olympians, the most medaled Olympians per capita. And it's partly because of the way that the community acts. The parents all show up for other kids throughout the community. It's like such a tight-knit support system. And to me, what that means, if we apply it to everybody else in the world, is the extension of warmth changes people. It gives you superpowers. The feeling of support, the trust that is created from that, and the awareness of potential that is created by that is profound. And so I say that as I'm just an extra layer of encouragement for you to foster any arena in your life that can give you that really felt sense of connection to other people and freely given unconditional support to other people. Not an ode, not a I did it for you, so you should do it for me, but like an assumption. I'm going to give because that is who I am. I'm going to give freely and so fully because that is who I am. That is my default. That is my default setting as a human. Um, okay. And the next tool is a rumination loop skip tool. The other version of the name was accept them. If you are in a rumination about somebody else and their actions, I want you to ask yourself, can I control them? If the answer is no, then accept it. Like really, really, really 100% see them as a separate storyline, a separate entity, and you cannot alter that. People who are going to be assholes are going to be assholes. Like you cannot change that. So where do you go from there? You soothe, you send them love in your mind's eye, detach, like cut all the strings, so to speak, of their energy, and really just practice like, how do I clean my energy? I like to rub a crystal. Who have I become? I'm a crystal person now. But it's really healing. It helps, like just to feel active in the process of helping yourself in any way. Uh, Anything that is a ritual, anything that is a practice has resonance, whether or not it it's quote true. Like if you are doubtful of any of this stuff, it still has effects because you practice it in the intention of saying, I release worry, I release this person's energy. I like let them be them. Like all of that still has an effect on you and your body. Somewhat related next tool, projection, sung to the David Bowie fashion. Projection. If you are in your mind's eye saying what this other person thinks and you are telling stories about how they feel, if you're in the guilt stage of like going in loops and loops of guilt, if you are saying what they're thinking in any shape or form, know that it is 100% a hallucination in your mind's eye. And you cannot possibly know what they're thinking or feeling. Therefore, you got to step back. It's not your jurisdiction, it's not your property, it's not your mind. If you are in a situation with another person where things are being triggered, in my opinion, all issues in relationships come from boundaries, commitment, acceptance. I'll break down exactly what I mean by those things, but I invite you to journal on those things. If you're having a relationship struggle currently, boundaries. Are you currently keeping your boundaries tight? Or are you getting like violations where, the scabbing of a recent healing area is kind of punctured by a situation where you feel you are reset to an old triggered place? If so, it's a boundary problem. Commitment. I ask you to journal on that because I want to ask, do you know where you stand? Often chronic painful relationships are in part caused by a lack of processing your truth and where you stand on the relationship. Are you in it regardless, or are you actually processing the idea of walking away? Like there is great power and relief and peace that can come from just allowing yourself to follow through questioning with openness and honesty. And last, acceptance. I think a lot of issues come from refusing to accept where someone is and their limitations and what is right for them, like who they are truly. Like we'll fight with it, we'll judge them, we'll look down on them and say like they shouldn't be that way. But like if you can just see their world for what they want it to be, it you can accept their bar for success and you don't no longer have the job of judging it. You no longer have the worry around controlling it. So just really seeing them on their terms. I invite you to journal on that. I hope you enjoy it. All right, the next tool, watch for O. And I mean O like OWE, the word O. There is this desire for us in our brains to simplify complex family relationships. And what our brain tends to do is reduce them to like very binary black and white terms. And so if you start to notice yourself defaulting to like very simple transactional terms, like I owe this to them. I should because of blank. Because they did blank, I should blank. Like very barter based or money based. That's a flag. It's a red flag. And I just want you to pause and ask yourself if you are defaulting to an oversimplified definition of the terms of this relationship. Like, have you given yourself an opportunity to really think about it deeply versus based on pressure from culture? So we have to allow ourselves the nuanced, very personal interpretation of what is right for us based on the soul, quite literally. So if you are in, just notice, are you in a state of, I have to do this, I should do this? Or are you in a state of, I want to do this, or I believe in blank, and therefore I want to do this? Just allow that simple step of checking in. All right, the last tool so comes from my daughter, strabalize. No, strabatize. That's the word. My daughter was saying that word and referencing it. I think she heard it on, I think she heard the word traumatized in a cartoon or something like that. But she was like, I'm so traumatized. I forgot what the context was. But for the reason I chose this as a tool is because for us, words have such intense meaning. They have like a feeling, they have like a flavor, and they cause us to go on a ride of feelings. And this was a perfect example of a word that is completely devoid of any meaning or energy because it's coming from a child, you know? So I just called this out because when you say words to yourself, they are very charged. And if you notice yourself saying a word that I would call a prompt of feeling in your head to feel something, change the word if you recognize it's going to put you on a ride of feeling that is not a positive one. So as soon as I notice my saying like myself thinking like, oh, I think I'm getting depressed. As soon as I recognize that prompt, I say, or maybe I'm actually going to feel better at lunchtime and I'll just feel normal like I did the other day when that happened. So if you can follow that new prompt up with a fill in the blank recent case study of when you were just fine, when things were great, your brain can just skip all of the corresponding negativity that was about to come as a result of the prompt. You can change outcomes with changing your thinking. So those are my tools. I hope they're helpful to you. Thank you, everybody who has left comments, and thank you, everybody who has reached out on Spotify. So lovely to talk to you and respond. And if you have the time to leave a review on iTunes, they help me a lot. And if you can share it with someone that you think this could help, that helps as well. So, in closing, I just wanted to ask you a really simple question. Are you nice to yourself? Have you been nice to yourself in just what you put yourself through as of late? I think this is a good check in, casual check in to do now and again, and just scan. Like, have you been overscheduled? Are you tired as a common outcome of a day? Are you feeling like you're catching up all the time? Because those are fixable problems. Like, I want you to ask, like, is this a life you enjoy? And ask yourself that periodically so you can ensure you are maintaining a balance of fun in your life. And if you are a doer, someone high functioning, know that your default is to resume a state of kind of survival and checking boxes. And it's up to us to design it the right way. Like this is a life led for you as well. So just make sure you're making tweaks to ensure this balance. And it's all within reach. The tweaks are within reach. So prioritize them. Send you my love. And don't forget to smile.